Yo, it is time to talk about Saturday's game where San Jose State lost 55-10 against the last place in the Mountain West Conference, Nevada Wolfpack. I would say, without a doubt, this is the most disappointing San Jose State loss in this decade of the 2020s. I've seen many people say that it was the most disappointing loss this century for San Jose State, and as someone that has only covered this team starting this decade, I can't speak to all of that. I grew up in San Jose. I wasn't taken to San Jose State games as a kid, but I can't think of a game that's more disappointing than this, where you were up 9.5 favorites to go into Nevada that had not won an FBS game in 399 days and had not won a conference game since 2023 and get blown out by, 45 points. I really can't think of a tougher loss than that. And it wasn't just that. It was just the uncompetitiveness of the team. And I want to rattle off a few more things about this game in specific. Nevada's previous season high in points this season was 22. They had scored 11 touchdowns all season prior to this point. In this game, they scored 7 touchdowns. San Jose State had not been shut out in a first half in 693 days since the Hawaii Bowl against Coastal Carolina. The last time they had 5 turnovers in a game was 2019. And the last time they lost a conference game by 40 plus points was also in 2019. And it was in Nevada against Nevada. There were just so many career bads like that, like program bads that you had not seen, and they all culminated into one game. They allowed a rushing touchdown, passing touchdown, defensive touchdown, special teams touchdown. Every touchdown you could think of almost, Nevada had that going for them. There was just so much that went wrong, and it all comes down on the coaching staff, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. When you have the nation's leading passer go for only 74 yards and 3 interceptions, and that last interception is really the bow on everything, because you're trying to get back into a game. It's 31-3, something like that. And Walker just chucked it, trying to get it all back in one play. That's when you know things are kind of out of it. You're out of it. You just want to get to the sideline. That's what it looked like. That's what it appeared as. He wanted to get it all back in one play. It didn't work. And after that, we saw Robert McDaniel, who we can get more into later. But I think Tom Amasone, many can agree, was the bright spot of the day. I think he had one really great drive. He was able to scramble, get himself in the end zone for the first time in his career. But that's not what this video is about. In the post-game presser, Niumatalolo said, "That is as bad as a performance that I've ever been involved in, maybe my whole career." It was really bad. It was just a really bad football game. And something I want to harp on a little bit more is that I thought initially the worst game that was going to be played this year was the Central Michigan game in week 1, because that, in my opinion, you could still have optimism for the rest of the season, but you kind of, if you were being a realist, you knew that was it for the season, because there's no way you have that high of expectations and come out that slow coming out. And in that Central Michigan game, he said, quote, "We don't turn the ball over, we win the game. I've got to do a better job coaching. Don't turn the ball over was my only message, and obviously I didn't get it across." We're now 10 games into the season, and there's now a 6 years gap between the last time this many turnovers happened in a single game. It is a very tough thing if that's the staple and the message still isn't getting across, and now other things are looking lackluster. It's a very difficult view, and it's very hard to feel sympathetic, because you're down 31-0 and you're kicking field goals. That's not how you get back into the game. I think from a competitive standpoint, it's not how you get back into the game. You need to throw the ball. It's evident you need to get back into this game. I think one of the reasons that San Jose State was favored so highly in this game is because they were regarded as the top passing brigade in the entire nation. Walker Eget comes into the game as the nation's leading passer, passes for just 74 yards in this game against, again, a Nevada Wolfpack team that is dead last in the Mountain West and has not won against an FBS opponent in basically 400 days. One more day would have sealed the deal. 74 yards. I don't know how that's a thing. Lamar Radcliffe fumbles again, turns the ball over. It was quite harmonious in the sense that it was a pick 6 from Walker. They get the ball back, and the very next play was a lost fumble. So much bad accompanying this game. And you want to give the defense credit to a certain degree because they were put in so many bad positions. But I mean, true freshman Carter Jones, he looked like a 4-year experienced pro. He missed, I think, 3 passes all day. He went 16 for 19, something like that. I don't think you can allow a true freshman to look that comfortable in any game, and that's exactly what he looked like. He looked like a true NFL game manager. It looked perfect. Caleb Ramsey ran through so many people. Chubba Purdy looked like the ideal Taysom Hill running through people. I think both averaged more than 6 per carry, so there's really not a saving grace from this team other than the kicking game. Again, made all of your kicks, the field goal and the point after, but that's not what you want to hold your hat on in general. But if I were to tell you after game 1 of the season that San Jose State's best part of this game was the kicking game, you would kind of expect a 55-10 score. And that's what we said in the last game against Air Force, only this time it was amplified by so many magnitudes. Something else that I think also needs to be talked about is San Jose State was able to hold their hats on having this large offense that can propel receivers. And the nation's leading receiver still is Danny Scudero. He was announced as a Biletnikoff semifinalist, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, a semifinalist. But in these last 2 games, it kind of looks like other teams, not just other teams, 2 of what many would consider the worst teams in the nation, Air Force and Nevada, they kind of figured out what to do with this slot spot. Scudero has a combined 9 catches for what is that, 70 yards. 9 catches for 70 yards combined. No touchdowns, no nothing else. It's a tough look for a team that's so explosive. And mind you, Leland Smith went off in the Air Force game for a career day. There wasn't much more to talk about in the Nevada game. And the offensive line was very tough also in the Nevada game. I won't make it seem like it's all Walker, who did make fairly bad decisions. There were some bad balls being overthrown too, outside of those interceptions. But the offensive line wasn't great. Dylan LaBarbera got to the quarterback. Maldonado got to the quarterback. It was a tough day at the office for San Jose State in every unit. It wasn't just certain aspects. Every unit struggled today. Or Saturday, may I say. But there's just not much more to hold your hat on in games like this because it looked like every unit they didn't have the energy. They wanted it significantly more. And that's why it's hard to say things in the press conference or hear things in a press conference that say, we got to give credit to them. I don't know how much credit you need to give to Nevada as juxtaposed. I don't have to give as much credit because it just didn't look like they came out to play. San Jose State. Clearly Nevada came out to play. They were talking in their press conferences early in the week how much they have to respect San Jose State coming into a game like this. They gave them too much respect. It was a battering. And in a game against the nation, again, you have to juxtapose these things. Nevada was the worst team in the Mountain West. Now you're going to go against the best team in the Mountain West in San Diego State. They didn't just play down to their competition in Nevada. They played way underneath it. So you need to have a huge performance against San Diego State, really contend in this game with a team that realistically has a chance to go to the college football playoff. I know many say that the American and James Madison somewhere in there will get that final spot. It's not ruled out that San Diego State gets that last spot in the college football playoff. You need to have a really good performance against them in order to keep some semblance of things before you go into that final game against Fresno State in that rivalry game. Because it was shown just a season ago how bad things can get against Fresno State when you do not have a collective group that is ready to play in that game. It was only 33-10, but it was really bad in that game. You're going to have to prepare things better going into these final 2 weeks. One more thing, I should also mention Nafafunga. It looks like he got injured maybe in the first half. He did not play a lot, and as the defense's best player, you would certainly expect him to play more. I don't anticipate that being benching because, again, he is the best player on the defense, but he did not get a lot of usage in this Nevada game, which there's only so much one player can do in a game like this, but certainly I think contributed to some of the inadequacies of the defense in this game. But it's 2 weeks left in the season. San Jose will play San Diego State at 7:30 in San Diego, and then they will play their final game of the season in San Jose against Fresno State with a to-be-determined time. Can only hope for competitive games at this point because there is no bowl game now. You need to try and keep some of the talent that you have accumulated. Not just some of the talent from what many considered the most talented San Jose State roster in program history. You need to keep some of that talent and attract some in. But we shall see. what the rest of the season brings. San Jose State lost 55-10. Again, the last time that happened was in 2019 in Nevada, against Nevada, when they lost by 40 or more points. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment down below how you think this game went and what your opinions of the program are moving forward.